I think it's really stupid, to be honest with you, but they're basically adding in dynamic pricing for Wendy's, and they're going to charge more or less money based off of, like, which items are available or not available, you know? I think that, like, it's actually crazy how much the price of everything has gone up, and I've really started to notice it myself. Like, whenever I look at the menu, like, I went to McDonald's today. I went inside of a McDonald's today, and I got a drink at McDonald's. I have not been inside of a McDonald's in like 2 years. And the last time I was inside of a McDonald's before then was in California. So I assumed that, no, this is just California, what the fuck, right? So I didn't really pay it any mind. So I go to one of my local McDonald's that are just very close near me, and there's nobody at the cash register. So I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm sitting there like a fucking, you know, like that SpongeBob caveman meme. You know, I didn't know what the fuck, right? And so I walk up, and there's obviously this like massive touchscreen, and there's like 2 kids using it, and I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. So I figure out how to use the touchscreen. I mean, it's fucking simple. I mean, kids can use it. So I figure out how to order my food. I get my food, and then I look for a straw. I just want to get a straw for my fucking drink. That's all. I'm not talking about anything crazy. Just a straw for my drink. I go to look for it. There's no fucking place to get straws. I'm walking around this, like, really small McDonald's, and I don't know where the fuck the straws are. And then I start thinking, well, where are the napkins? Where's the forks? Where's the ketchup? And there's nothing. Like, the entire bar that they had of, like, all this stuff, like, oh, go get yourself, like, you know, ketchup, you know, salt and pepper, everything like that. All of that stuff is fucking gone. And if you want something, you have to talk to an employee. It's like, yeah, you have to go ask up at the front. And it's like, I don't want to go talk to them. I had to do it because I was like, how the fuck, what am I going to, you know, die and not drink my soda? They removed the fountain drink. Oh, yes. It gets even better. So I go to order a drink because, you know, like usually you go to the drive-thru and you tell them what soda you want, so they fill it up at the drink machine and then they give it to you through the window, right? This is the way it goes. And then whenever you go inside of a store, they usually give you the cup and then you fill up your own drink. Well, McDonald's has decided, fuck you. And so now there isn't even the ability for you to fill up your own drink anymore at the McDonald's that I went to. You can't even fill up your own drink. They give you a drink. And do you know what really they're doing? Do you know what they're really doing? They're saying no free refills. Fuck you. I don't know if maybe they might give you a refill if you ask. I have no idea. Yeah, and so that's basically what happened. Chick-fil-A's been doing it forever. Yeah, so does Shake Shack. But it's very different whenever a company that I remember whenever they used to give you the sauce packets, the barbecue sauce packets. I remember they would reach into a box and take out a handful of them and then be like, I was a kid then, right? So I would hold out both my hands and then they would just fill up my fucking hands with barbecue sauce, man. And what the hell happened? Yeah, that was 20 years ago. And now things have changed. And of course the prices haven't gone down either. So you're getting less for more. So yeah, 90s Taco Bell, they gave you 20 sauce packets whenever you got the order. Yeah, exactly. Like the entire bottom of your bag would be sauce packets. You used to be able to order a Pintos and cheese, and then they would give you a taco shell to dip into Pintos and cheese. Now, that's like fucking 70 cents or something like that. We're talking about a corn taco shell. 70 fucking cents for that? Are you kidding me? What the fuck are you talking about? That's insane. Do you remember whenever people didn't get offended by everything? No, and neither do you. You just don't remember the 90s or the 2000s well enough. Do you want to know how to offend somebody in the 90s? Talk bad about Jesus. You want to hear about how to offend somebody in the 2000s? Talk bad about the military, America, or say that you're a Muslim. That's how to offend somebody back then. People always have been habitually offended in America. Just because nowadays people are offended about something new, this isn't anything fucking special, okay, guys? And it's not going to change. Yeah, I want to rage. Yeah, that's it. Origami. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Human behaviors change. Lots are shameless right now. I think that people have always been shameless. I just think that, so the difference is that now every crazy person has a microphone. And because every crazy person has a microphone, you have to hear all of them. And also because crazy people are so interesting, everybody, as soon as a crazy person says something, everybody's like, what? And then it like amplifies it. So like one crazy person is like, it sounds like 1,000 of them. But it's just really just a few idiots, you know? That's just about it. The flashlight to see the cockroaches is larger now than it was before. That's a really good way to say it. Yeah, if you're in a dark room, you don't know how many cockroaches are in the room. So if you have a small flashlight and you see one cockroach, you think there's one cockroach in the room. But if you have a really big flashlight, like for example, the internet, you see there's roaches fucking everywhere. And that's basically what's happened. Yeah, you're right. Internet's returned to a full fold of the human tribal condition. Oh, I don't know. I think it really depends. Yeah, own a small restaurant, cost of everything is high and consumers aren't wanting to spend as much as they used to because of economic concerns and pricing everywhere being high, really hurting our bottom line. I wish we could lower prices, but our hands are tied. I think that, here's what I think a lot of restaurants should do, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to preface this with, I don't own a restaurant. I'm just talking from like my own, like this is what I want, really. I think that portion sizes are way too big. I do. I think that they are massive. Like, most of these restaurants serve you food for 2.5 people, which makes sense because most Americans are the size of 2.5 normal people. But the problem is that I don't think that a lot of people really need to or want to eat that much. It's crazy. The amount of food that you have to eat. It's nuts. I disagree. Yeah, it's so much fucking food. And like I'll get like I remember I went to this like Asian restaurant and they gave me enough chicken fried rice for 3 meals. What the hell? Why not just make a smaller portion size? So yeah, I think that portion sizes should be smaller. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about the surge pricing and what I think is going to happen. I think that people are going to complain about this. They're going to get really mad at Wendy's, and the boycotts might last an entire day. And then Burger King will do the same thing, McDonald's will do the same thing, and before you know it, this will become the norm. I think that customers have been conditioned to surge pricing through apps like Uber, DoorDash, etc. And because they've been conditioned into this type of pricing structure, having other fast food restaurants that do it won't really be the same problem because I think that, again, this is something that they've already learned to accept. And also, like, again, I really don't want this to be the case. I really, I think this would be, I think it's bad. It's bad that this is the case, but I do think that it is the case. So I think this is what will happen, although I wish it would not. Did you see Chili's make fun of Wendy's for this on their Twitter? Well, I mean, Chili's, there are a lot of restaurants that serve food for different prices based off of different days and times. This isn't really like a new concept. I mean, it's kind of like happy hour, for example, or a lot of things have like, I mean, doesn't Chili have like, don't they sell like fajitas or something like that certain days? So yeah, I mean, Chili's is a sit-down place. I think that it is, but what I'm saying is that Chili's is also a restaurant. And I think that the more and more that as restaurants change these different rules, and also like fast food restaurants, really, what's the difference between a sit-down Chili's restaurant and a Wendy's? Because back in the day, it used to be $10, and now it's like $4. I think that's a big fucking difference. I hate to say it, yeah. It's not live service dining. Yeah, exactly. Should games do surge pricing? I don't think anybody should do... Well, I mean, I don't know about anybody. I think that it really makes sense with something like Uber. Because, like, you're basically... like, if you didn't have surge pricing... I don't know. I mean, like, you would have... like, each one of them creates its own problems. So, I think that a lot of things will have it for different reasons. But would I want a game to have it? Absolutely not. Because I think that once you create, so like for a developer or a publisher or whatever, if a video game is incentivized through surge pricing in the same way that a fast food restaurant would be, it would then in turn be incentivized not to provide the best experience to the customer. And I think this is one of the only arguments that I think goes against what I'm saying, and it's probably the strongest way that I could hope that this won't happen, is that in general, I think that any type of business innovation that doesn't offer an upside to the customer will fail. And I don't think that there is any upside to surge pricing unless the prices for things go down dramatically. It's like, you know, if you show up at 9 at night and there's like, you know, they close at 10 and they're selling chili for 70 cents. So like, unless there's like, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think if it does happen, they will slowly raise that floor to where it is no longer, it's like kind of, it starts good so people accept it, and then they slowly make it worse as people begin making it a part of their routine. It's kind of like, again, boiling the frog. So that's like, if I was Wendy's, that's what I would do. But I hope that's not what they fucking do, because that would be horrible. And so I do think that in general, a lot of things that, for example, surge pricing for Uber causes you to get a ride faster and to spend more money to get something that somebody else would have gotten, but they are not getting it because they're not spending that extra money. I don't think that surge pricing with something like Wendy's provides a tangible value to a customer, and that's why I think that a lot of people aren't going to like it. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to deal with it. I think that it's a sick joke. Yeah, exactly. People are very unhappy about this. But I do think that it will be some kind of reality. They really want to destroy their business that much. I don't think that they want to destroy their business. I thought that was Arby's for a second. I think that they're just ahead of the curve. I think that you're going to see McDonald's do this. And in 15 years, I think this might very well be the norm. I think that a lot of them are going to do it. What do you guys think? It seems like they're exploiting the human condition. Well, they're not really exploiting anything. You have a restaurant, you're changing the prices, and people choose not to. Like, I personally view, this is like an opinion that I have, and I know that like a lot of people like to throw around the word like scam and exploit. I only really like using those words whenever a purchase is mandatory or a fee is concealed. So, for example, if you are paying money for something and you get the thing that you're paying money for, or you are paying money for something and you're not being charged anything extra, then I don't really think that it's a scam or an exploit. Because the customer and the business go into the transaction with an equal amount of information about what the transaction will entail. So, I don't think that it's a scam. I don't think that it's an exploit. I just think that it's bullshit. That's it. It's just fucking bullshit. That's all. I am complaining about it. Again, I'm mad. Is the future they'll harvest data from consumers and buy power and discriminate prices according to that too? Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, they'll definitely change prices because of that. It will probably succeed because of whales. Well, I said this yesterday and I'll say it again. Wendy's surge pricing will succeed because of whales for the same reason why microtransactions succeed because of whales. It's just a different kind of whale. Surge pricing makes sense whenever you're a small restaurant dealing with seasonal products with short shelf lives. For a fast food place that has contracts in place to reliably ship the same goods consistently, I don't get it. Well, I do. It's called money. They can make more money by doing this, and they can also, like, if I look at it from Wendy's perspective, I do see an advantage to doing this from a production standpoint. Because this will probably equalize the amount of like product they use more so than than they are now. I'm not saying it's like, oh, well, because salads are cheap, everybody that's going to buy a burger is now going to buy a salad. But like, there will be people that will make that decision if the price is dramatically different. Like, I'm not talking about a huge amount, but it will shift that percentage slightly. And if that does happen, then it makes it easy for them to restock things. It makes it less likely that they will run out of things because they can dynamically price them higher. So less people will be disappointed. They will just have to pay a higher price. So it's kind of like it's almost like instead of some people lose, now everybody loses. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm not explaining this in a good way, but I'm saying that, like, they're basically taking the inconvenience of, for example, not having your menu item, and they're basically dispersing that across the entire customer base. So now you're not just disappointed whenever the ice cream machine isn't working. Everybody is. Effectively, right? Let's be honest, they'll make a lot more money. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think that's really the reason. I think the reason why they're doing this is just simply because they want more money. That's it. And also because there are a lot of fast food companies, and I'll go back to the McDonald's example. I really think that these fast food companies are doing as much as they possibly can to automate activity. Like, I remember back whenever you were a kid, like, let's say you were born between 90 and 2000, okay? 1990 and 2000. How many people were working at a McDonald's whenever you showed up, whenever you were a kid? How many people would you say? I would say it'd be like maybe 10 or 15. Like, I'd say 10 or 15 people, right? Now, whenever I go, I think it's like 5 to 7. Usually, I don't see even half as many people there now. And I think that McDonald's and Wendy's and all of these other companies are seeing how, obviously, you know, workers, I've said before, right? I mean, I don't want to, we've talked about this fucking that is streaming harder than a real job thing, like 50 fucking ways. And so I don't want to get into this conversation again, okay? But my point is that one thing that I said that I think everybody fucking agrees with is that fast food fucking sucks. Working in fast food is fucking awful. Nobody actually wants to work there. Not nobody, right? I mean, I'm sure some people love it, but for the most part, this is a horrible, horrible job that most people hope so much that they're going to be able to get out of. So I don't think people are really complaining about this automation a whole lot, but it will have a negative effect. And I think that McDonald's and these other companies are now needing to pay so much more money in order to keep employees. Like, I feel like the wages, for example, like for some of these fast food restaurants, it's surprisingly high compared to how low it used to be. I feel like the wages for these places have gone up in some way a considerable amount. And they're still not able to hire people. They're still not able to staff the restaurants. And the reason for that, only in cities? Yeah, well, I live in a city. I'm talking about my experience. If you're in another place, then you're probably going to have a different experience. But yeah, in my city that I live in, the prices for like the average wage for an employee here has gone up tremendously. So, and why is that? It's because employees don't want to do basically the worst job. Like, I think that there is basically no job that is worse than working in fast food. I don't know about that. I'm sure there are jobs that are worse. But I think that in terms of like just mainstream average jobs, I think it really, yeah, besides streaming. A coal miner, a dishwasher, yeah, there could be a few. But I think fast food is an S-tier bad job to have. I think it fucking sucks. It is literal fucking garbage. Oil rig? But the difference with an oil rig is at least you're getting paid a lot of fucking money. What I'm saying with fast food is it is the worst of both worlds. You are getting paid no fucking money. You have no respect. And the job is fucking horrible. So it's like a lot of the other jobs, like maybe there's like one good thing about it. In my opinion, working at Wendy's, there are no positive benefits to that other than maybe stealing some nuggets, which you're probably sick of even smelling after working there for a couple of months. So yes, I understand that obviously some jobs suck more in terms of doing them, but there is, I mean, at least you get a lot of money in some of these other shitty jobs, right? And we're not really, I'm not trying to really make a massive tier list about this. And usually, I mean, whenever I say it's the worst, it's probably not the worst, but I really do think that fast food it's one of the worst jobs to have, at least. I think it sucks. Because not only do you get paid like shit, but you get treated like shit by people fucking constantly, right? And so, yeah, nobody, and the point is, right, here's the point. Nobody fucking wants to work there. Nobody wants to work at a fucking McDonald's. Nobody wants to work at a Taco Bell, having people yell at them through the drive-thru over their radio because their car's too loud, and then getting mad. It sounds horrible. And I'm sure that there are people that like the job, but I'm talking in terms of generalities. I think overall people just don't really like this. So yeah, that's basically it. No one wants to work? Yeah, sure, you can say that, but I think no one really wants to work in these. So yeah, Mexicans don't care? That's racist. What are you talking about? I think that a lot of people that are Mexican, of course they care. It's not like they're different people. Yeah, some of them might come from a country that's worse, but no, I think that obviously they care. You think they really like the job? No, they don't like the job. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I live in Texas, where I am used to fucking be Mexico. There's a lot of Mexicans here, guys. Like, come on. No. And by the way, I know a lot of them, and they didn't like it. What do you mean? Yeah, come on. Good luck trying to tell someone on a date that you work in fast food. The general consensus is that everyone hates working fast food. I mean, yeah, I think that, like, it's very hard for me to say this, right? Because, like, I'm not really sure. But I bet if you were on Tinder and you said, I work at McDonald's in your bio, that would immediately reduce the amount of matches that you would get. Because it is, like, one of the most low-status jobs in society. Not true, I get no matches regardless. Well, you can somehow go into the negatives. Maybe some of them will report you. Depends on how good looking you are. Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, if you were starting at 10% matches, then you'd go down to 5, right? Or something like that. I'm just saying it would be a reduction. That's all I'm saying. I work at a Chipotle and you're slumming in it? But put you work in Chipotle and you're slumming in it? Yeah, because Chipotle's expensive and people love Chipotle, so they want free food. I mean, I get that. I mean, fuck, that sounds like a good idea for me. Absolutely, working on fast food is usually an indication that you aren't qualified for high-earning work, and the assumptions are made about your overall ambition, if this is true or not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? And, like, this isn't something that's based in, like, a reality. I'm not saying this is true, but this is how I think a lot of society views fast food workers. How do I know that? Well, because every time there's, like, a Karen yelling at somebody working at a fast food restaurant, it's very annoying to everybody, but why do people keep doing it? It's because nobody respects them. So yeah, that's about it. So the point is that, like, obviously these companies are trying to min-max the fuck out of making food and making money. That's really the point that I'm getting at. We've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but they are trying to min-max this as much as they possibly can. And in the process of doing that, they are trying to remove the human element as much as possible. So I think that their goal is going to be nearly full automation with dynamic pricing to make up for people ordering more types of food. I think that's what's going to happen. In 15 years, I think that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of. We're going to be seeing automated restaurants, fast food restaurants. You know, you probably go and sit down at a steakhouse. You're probably going to have a real waiter and a real cook making the steak. But I'm talking about, like, fast food restaurants. You're going to have robots doing the majority of the work, and then a couple of people overseeing the robots. So yeah, that's basically what I think is going to happen.